Previously on the Big Break. The guys became one with nature.
Oh, man.
Woke up this morning, found a nice big surprise.
Hey, Jeff, watch this.
On the course, they took dead aim at their first challenge.
Oh, wow.
Anthony grabbed his first mulligan.
Come on, player.
In the elimination challenge, it was all about control. 4 clubs, 1 distance. There was a bad bounce for John.
It was coming in fine, and he just took that roll to the left.
And an emotional goodbye. Who will be next? 6 men, 4 Canadian Tour exemptions, 1 chance of a lifetime. The Big Break.
We're out here at the Big Break in Gaylord, Michigan. I don't know where I am right now. Is this north? Is this south? I'm really afraid right now, man. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through the Big Break. Is my nose running?
Smooth. What's going on? What's up? Beautiful day again.
It's kind of hard to believe that you can form such tight friendships so quickly. You meet a bunch of guys and you hang out together, and you're 24/7. You're together.
Set the hacker beer in front of me.
Hacker for sure. Hacker for sure.
I think golf is all about something that you've got in common, and you can come out, you meet new people, create new friendships, and get to know other people and personalities.
Time to leave, boys.
Do you like to be called Anthony? You like to be called Tony?
When I was single,
Yeah, right.
I would tell the girls my name is Anthony.
Here.
Tony is too much of a Guido name.
It's nice to meet different people from different places. You hang out with your friends. They're all usually right around your age and stuff.
This is a game we indulge in at the bar quite a bit.
That's one long
Good for gambling.
Over to golf. It's like all the compliments. That's one long drive.
Yeah, that's part of it. The big challenge. Can you iron, live without air conditioning, survive with the raccoon, and everything else, and still be able to swing a golf club?
Here we go again.
This guy's got some skills, and depending on what the challenge is, you just never know what's going to happen. There's no way to predict it, and it's crazy. I mean, it's anybody's ballgame. Look at this face.
For those of you watching this tape, realize you do not let us sleep ever. 24 hours of this.
Craig, how long did it take you to do your hair today?
1.3 seconds, a little slow this morning. I actually forgot to do the hair thing. I was shaving.
That's phenomenal.
Once it's done.
What's a step meter in that thing?
I had it rolling, when I first got here, it was rolling about at 12.
Yeah.
It's probably rolling about at 10.5.
Rolling at 12. Now, Anthony, how deep is that rough?
Yeah, that's a little rough you got up there. U.S.
And then there were 6.
One more will be eliminated today, Rick.
Give us a little feel for John being gone. I mean, John was a pretty cool guy.
What are you guys thinking?
Not that we liked anyone more than the other, but yeah, that was definitely the most emotional part so far. Probably the saddest part to see John go.
Yeah. Randy, what do you think?
Don't want to talk about it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, that says it all, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's been an interesting series here, you know, and we've got some wild things for you to deal with here coming up again. And I know you're ready. I know you're ready.
Yeah.
But we need to get over there and get to it.
Let's get going.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go,
Come
guys.
on.
Whoever's hitting the approach shot, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm gonna have driver and 3-wood. What if I don't even make it to here?
We didn't know what you guys had in store for us.
I'm looking at Randy, I'm like, dude, I ain't doing this.
Listen, Slim, long-legged, deer-looking.
That was a twist we never expected.
Back and watch it.
My God.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
We didn't know what you guys had in store for us. We drove up there and it's speed golf.
We're running with one club.
I'd rather take my chance.
Yeah, I would too.
We're running with one club. My first thought was, I'm gonna have to hit a club from the teeing ground all the way to the green, and they're gonna time me. Dude, it's a 5-iron, dude, and I'm gonna keep on hitting. That's what I thought. My brother and Mark was standing right next to me, and you know, he told me he's not gonna do it. I'm not running nowhere. You know, so that's how it all started.
Speed challenge.
They got a whole bunch of coffee.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", 250. I'm not exactly svelte. And these, you know, some fit people over here, I'm looking at Randy, I'm like, dude, I ain't doing this.
Listen, Slim, long-legged, deer-looking.
We're just trying to, what, do we have to hit a ball and run? And we were trying to figure out what was gonna happen.
And then, you know, obviously we find out it's a different challenge. What a completely different thing.
All right, guys, we're on the 15th hole. It's a 420-yard par 4. Okay? Guess what you're gonna do? Little speed challenge.
In the Speed Golf Challenge, each team will have a member positioned on the tee box, the fairway, and the green. The players will hit a shot or shots in their respective areas until the ball is holed. The player on the green does not have to remove the pin when putting. The teams will have 60 seconds to complete the hole. If they take longer than that, they will be penalized. Each increment of 10 seconds will add another stroke to their total score. Each member of the winning team wins a travel bag from Club Glove.
This is a surprise. The winning team doesn't have to go to the elimination challenge. You can just sit back and watch it.
When we heard the twist about, you know, the team that wins doesn't have to go to the elimination round, that was huge. I mean, that everybody's face just dropped. They're like, really? That was a twist we never expected, because all of a sudden there was something pretty serious on the line.
Let's just draw for captains, okay? So there's one ball in here that says 1 on it, one that says 2. Pick the ball. If you pick the 1 or the 2, then you are the captain.
2.
2?
Nothing.
Nada.
1, okay. Anthony, you're the captain of number 1. Justin, captain of number 2.
I got picked as the captain, and you know, I have to pick somebody. You know, you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings because you don't pick them. And I was trying to calculate in my mind, you know, who I wanted, you know, to hit the tee shot, and you know, I wanted to hit the second shot, and I was trying to figure out the team I wanted.
Anthony, you want to pick your first team member, and then we're going to go to Justin to pick his team member.
The first thing I thought, you know, I knew if I'm a captain, I'm picking me last. I'm big, I'm slow, and I'm methodical.
I'll take Craig.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll take Randy.
I'll take you. Jeff.
I'll take Mark.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, guys.
And when the teams were finally selected, I was actually really pleased because had I been the captain, those were the 2 guys I wanted with me.
What are you thinking about?
I think we got a great chance to win in this thing. I'm a cutter. He's a smooth guy with the irons.
Perfect.
And he can putt and chip, so.
Well, that's a perfect combo.
You know, you got 2 very steady players on that team. Put me up by the green where finally I get to do a skill I'm good at and putt. That's a good thing.
I'm gonna have driver and 3-wood. What if I don't even make it to here?
So what's it going to be? Who's driving?
Anthony just felt like hitting the drive. So he said, Anthony, hit the drive. I said, I played baseball in college. I played outfield. I'm a fast guy. Let me get to your golf ball, and I'll hit a decent iron shot.
Whoever's hitting the approach shot is going to have to hit the extra club.
And we decided that Jeff would be up there doing the short game. He was a great putter. so we figured he could knock it in the hole for us real quick.
I'd rather hit it. I'd rather try to get it close to the hole and just make the number.
Hang on. Oh, this is so cool.
You ready? Because you know what? This is big. Sitting out in the elimination.
This is huge.
This is crazy, man.
Guys,
I'm glad we get to watch you guys do it.
I know.
That's gonna be fun. Good luck.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
I took off running like I hadn't ran in a long time.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I would think. Basically, the best strategy here is, but I think it's important that you have somebody that's pretty large off the tee, but hits it left or right. The other thing is you want your best iron player, second shot, and then you want your best putter and chipper up by the green. So you guys make that decision. Who's the best left or right driver here?
We were actually thinking about trying to get it down the left side just to have a decent shot at going at.
Yeah, but how about the hike? How about the walk?
We got. That's why I got my deer over here. I mean, I picked
What do you
the
have?
champion.
What do you like, an elk or a
He can be
cheetah?
there in like-
cheetah or an elk? Or
He said he
an
can be there in
elephant?
half a second.
We're looking to make
Are you
a good
serious?
score.
What are you doing here? You got to be on the track and field
I was an
deal.
outfielder in college.
So, but you really think you want to do that? Well, I'll tell you, it's up to you guys. So what's it going to be? Who's driving? You're driving. Who's hitting the iron?
I'm in the iron.
You're iron. You're putting, chipping. You ready? Because you know what? This is big. This
is huge.
Sitting out in the elimination.
This is huge.
You guys have no stress if you fly. Okay? You want to get it in the hole too, by the way.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey. You want me to lay it down the right side or left side? I mean, what do you want?
A little towards the left would help me.
As I was telling him, and I think I talked myself into it, I said, keep me away from the tree on the right if you can, but just hit a good tee shot.
Let's go.
Do it, boys.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Come
All
on,
right.
man. Let's do it.
This is fun.
What do you got in your hand? I got a plethora. I don't know what kind of shot he's going to leave me, and I got a golf ball. Greg is set.
I didn't think of a yardage. I just said, I'm going to go up there with 4 or 5 clubs, whatever I had in my hand, look at it once, whatever it looked like, that's the club I'm going with, go with it.
Give me a go when everybody's ready down there.
Okay, and the depth of the green is set.
Come on, kid, hit a good one. Hit a good one.
Matt's rolling.
Yes, he is.
Actually, I hope I can see it. Follow its flight.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. The option to sit out and not have to worry about getting eliminated was sweet, but you knew one of the teams was gonna sit, the other team was gonna be a team for as fast as we could, and then have to go against each other in the final elimination thing.
Anthony came out and ripped a drive, probably right where he was looking, but I was a little bit, I'm a lefty. The wind was blowing into me, right to left. I had to hook it back in and around the tree, pulled out a 6-iron. And again, speed, me, golf, doesn't work. Stupid. Get a good kick. All right, buddy, come on.
Second shot that was hit came up just, a little short, about 20, 30 yards short of the green.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Pin was all the way back, so I hit a 7-iron punch shot and just drove it right into the hill. And it really wasn't a bad shot after I had to run for like 35 yards. The rest of it speaks for itself. I took off running like I hadn't ran in a long time.
Look at him. He's really moving. Come on, Jeff.
Oh, this is definitely taking longer than that.
And he's got to wait for it to stop.
I'm too old for this.
You have a heart attack?
We got time?
I got a little over a minute and a half.
This is crazy. Wait, no, hang on. A minute and a half.
It's
And
three
he made a 6.
3-shot penalty and made a 6. So
Made
that's
a
a 9.
6. Yeah, made a 9.
Jeff, when's the last time you ran that fast anywhere?
Trying to put out a fire in the kitchen.
Dude, I'm telling you,
nice drive, dude.
that is a pressure shot to run up there and knock that shot up there. That was awesome.
137.
What'd you hit from down in front?
7.
Oh, you did?
Was
So you
that
hit a
too
little
long?
bump and run?
Yeah.
No, it was actually
wasn't bad,
turned out
but
to be
I mean-
pretty
No, it was
good.
a
That
good
you see how
shot.
fast that putt was
Well, the
coming
problem is when you're running and you're trying to breathe,
Then you stand over the putt.
I'm not saying anything else.
Did you see how fast that putt was?
Oh, my word.
It was fast coming down the hill.
In using 6 strokes over a time of 1 minute and 37 seconds, Anthony, Craig, and Jeff have posted a total score of 9 strokes. They will have to sit back and watch if their score will hold up.
Dude, what happened up there?
I don't know. It only took me 8 seconds. What did all the other time go?
It took 100 or it took 90.
I know.
I had to hit a good drive. I mean.
Oh, you hit it awesome. Sorry I fatted it, but I figured, you know what? It left it right in the
we
front,
tried,
you know?
No, we did good.
I know. And man, I couldn't even see what was going on up there.
Yeah, you can.
I couldn't see him. I mean, what was it, about 20 yards short of the green? Maybe 25? And it was
Get
just...
your can.
I knocked a punch up there.
I
I knocked a punch, and the green was just extremely... I got it past pin high.
Yeah, I saw
I was just off the back of the green, and I'm going, you know, just trying to breathe, and just thump, knocked it about 8 foot past.
We made a 9 and just had no idea how we stood. We had to go first and sat back and enjoyed it. It was pretty funny, actually.
But we were still in the ball game because anything could happen with their the next group coming up.
Like every event, I'm very nervous.
All right, we've got a secret weapon, too. These guys don't even know about. 1, 2, 3. Big break!
Go!
Anthony, Craig, and Jeff posted a total score of 9 strokes. Randy, Justin, and Mark are up next, and their score will determine which team will sit out the elimination challenge.
Guys, I think the perfect strategy on the hole is this. You guys do what you want, but here's my gut. You're going to be on the right side of the fairway, okay? So the perfect scenario in my mind would be a guy that hits a hard cut off the tee, okay? You want your best iron player to nuke probably a
smoothie.
You're going to hit a 4-iron or something up there. And then you got to get the guy to hit and chip and putt. So the ultimate team would be the best cut driver, because the guy's on the right, that's going to speed it up. The best iron player, and then, you know, obviously the best putter. So you guys decide. But that's what I would do, and I would definitely not get a guy that hits it left. The guy's got a 100-yard walk or run, and then he'll be dead by the time he gets to the ball anyway.
Right.
Okay? Okay. You guys go for it. Decide what you want. You can probably, if you rip a tee shot, you'll probably have about 155, 160 in. Okay? And it's uphill.
But remember, I don't hit it as far as the guys that you teach, okay? So we're thinking about 165, 170.
Yeah, but you hit a 6-iron 160.
Right.
It's 270. We figured out it's 270 to the 150-yard marker.
Right.
From the middle
That's
to the
right.
middle green.
And it's just short of the bunker on the left.
Dead in the wind, which is going to make it longer. And the pin's plus 15. It's all the way in the back. So we got the yard just pretty much dialed in.
All right,
And,
we've got a secret weapon, too. These guys don't even know about. Tomorrow is my birthday, and I am not going home tonight. So they have just joined a 4-leaf clover. So, I mean, luck's been with it all the way. You know, share the wealth.
All right, guys.
All right, this is going to be fun.
Good. Go for it.
The critical thing is just to get out there and take the green. And whether he 4-putts or not, who cares? But
My leg! My leg! I can't walk!
And we got to come running all the way back out here.
and
at 14 minutes.
We got like an alternate driver.
1, 2, 3.
Big break!
Normally, all the other skills challenges we've had, it's been fun, happy, let's go play and try for the prize. Nobody's getting eliminated, nothing is really on the line. Let's just have some fun.
Man, this is a tough hole from here.
Like every event, I'm very nervous. I just think about how I was hitting it on the range and just think about good shots, kind of picture it, leaving the tee, going out there, a little cut shot.
We had a huge benefit again. We get to go second. you know, so we know the number. And the numbers, you know, it's a good number. That's not an easy thing to do out there. You got to hit good shots, and the time's got to be fast. We all said, let's just take our time to make the best swings we can.
Mark is a great putter and a good chipper. So, you know, if I figured if I could hit one in the middle, you know, Justin hits it on the green, and we got par.
Mark was worrying about what club he's going to chip. I said, Randy, you hit that ball in the fairway, Mark's not going to need to chip.
Plus, we had something to go for because tomorrow is Mark's birthday.
3, 2, 1.
I'm in the, like, bird's nest up there. I can see the whole thing. I wear a stopwatch on my watch, and I clicked off the watch, and I right when the horn sounded, and you run up, put a tee in the ground, and blast a drive out there. I saw Randy hit that tee shot, and that was one of the sweetest under pressure shots. It was a little more towards the center of the fairway than I was expecting.
Randy hit such a great tee shot. If he hits it in the rough, you know, that's going to make that hole so much more difficult. I'm standing there in the box, and they're getting ready to go, and I didn't know what was going on through my head. How do I prepare for what's going to happen here? I'm watching the ball in the air. I didn't know what to do. When the ball landed, I started running, saw it rolling up to about 150-ish, and I started calculating in my head, and I came up, you know, it's going to play about 185. That's my 6-iron. Threw the clubs down. Took a practice swing, took a big divot.
He composed himself, and he hit the shot. And the ball got up into the air, and I saw it coming at the green.
That's it.
The ball hit, it rolled a little bit, and we're allowed to move the moment the ball hits. Check the flag out of it.
Take your time, Mark. Tap it in, baby.
Put a pretty decent putt on it. The guys were razzing me for not making it. And, you know, tapped in for 4, and, you know, rest is history.
Yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome.
Great drive. Good swing.
Oh,
man.
my God.
Good swing. Well done.
These poor other 3 guys have to go battle it out now.
Tomorrow's my birthday, and I was not going home. So, happy birthday to me from Randy and from Justin, because this is a big birthday present. I'm really happy about this one. So,
Ho hum. Mission accomplished. Just like clockwork, my boy. That was such a good drive.
that was awesome,
That was striped, man. That was so sweet.
Wait till you see the footage of the big barrel trying to get up that hill. I could feel the earth moving a little bit.
Not a big difference in time, but a key thing was the penalty shots that they had. You know, they had 3 penalty shots. You guys ended up having 1. And so, you know, you're the winner, and you guys get to sit. You guys get to watch. These other guys grind away.
That is.
And then, like I said, it's your birthday in a while. It's a pretty good birthday.
That's a
party.
great,
That's
great
phenomenal.
birthday present for
These guys.
You guys were tough. I mean,
Good.
we thought you guys had a pretty darn good chance if you pulled it off. But
You did a great job.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy golf.
Yeah, it was. It was very fun.
The difference between the other team and your team, it was just hitting the green. Justin hits this little block up here, but he hit enough club, and it almost caught the big branch, which would have put them back in the boonies. And it went through the tree, hit back here, and rolled close, and that was the difference, really. I still think, you know, imagine playing 18 holes in 25 minutes. You take
Be great.
Wouldn't that be great?
Just think all the other things you could do.
Yeah. Play a lot
Play more golf.
too.
More
Okay,
golf.
you know,
Try, guys.
Yeah, we have the putting challenge coming up
Yeah.
for the Mulligan.
Yeah, so we'll explain that to you in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Okay, so just come on over here, and then we'll get you ready for that.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
somebody wants a Mulligan.
If it's a skills challenge in that particular concept, I think I stand a real good chance.
that sucks.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have been sitting this one out.
I mean, I had no clue if that was good or bad. I mean, it was medium.
And I
They
heard
basically made
they
him
were saying,
breathe.
"Oh, he's on the green. He's on the green." I'm like, "Oh man, he's on the green."
They did it faster, and they made 5, or they made 4. You know, made birdie.
I was mentally thinking I was going to be watching, and I got ahead of myself, which you should never do in golf. I learned a lesson today, again. And I'm like, here we go again.
Basically, guys, you're all going to be hitting from the 3-foot mark. and you're going to back up as you make. If you miss, you sit out. Now, this is again, not elimination, it's for the mulligan. And the mulligan, obviously, you're going to want it. So, in terms of the order.
Number 1.
Jeff.
Number 1 again, Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff,
Good luck, guys.
Your way.
Here we go.
Do well, guys.
You're nothing but consistent.
In the mulligan putt-off, each player will attempt a putt from 3 feet. As the players make their putts, they will move back to a greater distance. The player that makes his putt when the others miss will win the mulligan for the elimination challenge.
Putting, I have a good imagination. At least that's what everybody says. And that's what allows me to get a lot of the putts and read a lot of the putts that other people don't see. If it's a skills challenge in that particular concept, I think I stand a real good chance.
Good putt.
Oh man, you idiot.
Hold it.
Anything can happen in putting. Anthony missing a short putt would really surprise us all.
I wasn't fired up to be there. I was pretty bummed out. We were still standing. I got to go second. I had no excuse to miss it, but I just dead yanked it. And right then, I was feeling, you know, I was actually thinking about being off the show. I've been pretty confident the last 2 days. I started playing a little bit better, but I actually was thinking about I might be out of here pretty soon.
Got a boy. Okay. Can you back up? Good roll. All right. Go back to his 5 feet.
Put it in there, Craig.
Come on, Craig.
They're better putters than what they showed, both Jeff and Anthony, but they missed at the wrong time. Solid. I made them both at the right time, and that was that.
That was good. We're going to take you over. You ready?
Just thinking about that great putt I just
You're in the
hit.
ball game. Nobody's gone home, but we're going to go take a shot at something different. You ready to go see what it is?
Off to the elimination challenge.
All right. Okay, let's
Okay.
go.
Where I grew up in Chicago, we were used to Bozo the Clown in buckets. You know, you started with bucket number 1 and you went to bucket number 2, so it worked good. Military makes you grow up a lot faster than you would out in the real world. The best job I ever had in the Army was being a drill sergeant for 3 years, because you got to mold those kids that had come off the street to soldiers. It was fun. Had a great time at it. Was good at it. Went in there, the aspirations of being like my dad. My dad was a paratrooper, and that's what I wanted to be. So the first 6 years of my military career was jumping out of airplanes with the 82nd Airborne Division. You have to jump out of them 5 times to earn your wings, and on the 5th jump, my dad got the opportunity to jump with me on my 5th jump. So that was a good time for me. The biggest thing is the 10-year mark. The 10-year mark is halfway. At 20, you reach your retirement. So at 10 years, you got to decide whether you're going to stay in or get out. When I reached 10 years, I had enough rank on my collar where I really enjoyed it. I had a good time in the military. You know, I played golf for 10 years on a military golf team. I won the Armed Forces Championship. That's a golf highlight of mine. You haven't competed against the best amateurs in the world, but you did compete against really good golfers, scratch golfers. So it was a good time, man, good time. Being in the infantry as an Army NCO, you have back pains, you have pains all the time. What I did is I went for an over 35 physical. They did an ultrasound of my left kidney. It was a little enlarged, but was working fine. Did an ultrasound of my right kidney, and the lady said, uh-oh. Had cancer in my right kidney. The cancer had cut off my right kidney, and it wasn't working for some reason. They took my right kidney out, And it was as big as that football sitting up there. That's why it's up there. Once you have cancer, you always think about it. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it.
The best of 3.
I had one extra ball for the elimination round, which was a little bit of a lift me up going into it. I got a little bit of confidence boost.
Get up, everyone. Hit it good.
Here we are at the elimination challenge. The end of the show is a long and straight drive competition. Rick, tell us a little bit about the specifics of this challenge.
Basically, you're going to hit 3 tee shots, okay? And we're going to take your best tee shot. The best tee shot's going to be measured by how long you hit it. For example, if you hit it 300 yards and you hit it 25 yards off the center line, that's going to be a net of 275. And that's how we're going to score it. 250 down the middle, minus 10, that's going to be 240. Okay, so the winner obviously needs to maximize that number, okay?
And also, Craig has a mulligan.
Right. That's right.
Each player will hit 3 drives to a line painted in the fairway. The player with the shortest total distance for their drive will be eliminated.
How many did you get?
3.
Right.
The best of 3. I knew that when I was put up against Anthony and Craig, these guys, I've watched them strike the ball all week. They have quality golf swings.
I had one extra ball for the elimination round, which was a little bit of a lift me up going into it. I got a little bit of confidence boost. I'd been driving it okay all week, but it never really came under a test other than the one down the road, but that wasn't exactly quite the same.
We did driving. The first show was driving, but it was for prizes. I think the advantage definitely is not going first in a situation like that.
We had to draw balls again. Which one do you think I drew? Number 1. Sure did. Number 1, and like I said, I was struggling with my swing. I had Justin, I had Craig. I said, guys, help me out. No problem. Justin set me up perfect. And even though I'd straightened it out prior to going out to the challenge, it's a scary thought when you're drawing number 1. And no. It's okay, I knew it. I missed that completely. That's right on the toe.
Deep breaths and good swing.
They're gonna say 220 minus
I'll tell you
60.
what, there's a lot of wind.
Yeah.
There's more wind up there, and it's uphill.
Good.
Is that in the fairway?
Nah.
Total distance, 233 yards.
Get up, everyone. Hit it good.
All right,
Side.
swing.
Side.
It's, uphill.
Oh, yeah.
Watch yourself here.
We've all played in big golf tournaments. Just like that type of pressure, I mean, what they see on TV is just some guys hitting golf shots, but there's people everywhere.
Right in between shots.
60 degrees out my hands, sweating.
Bombing.
Come on, Anthony, you can do it, buddy.
It's all right.
Sounds like a baby.
3 of us, the people sitting second and third, can weigh it out kind of and decide how they're going to play it. I mean, you got to go a full bore, or you just get it out there and just survive. I mean, one of the best parts of my game is hitting long and straight drives.
Come on, Dom.
Right when the wind picks up, too.
Good swing. Good swing. Wow. Wow.
Stay in the fairway.
Smile for the cameras. Good shot. Good drive.
Great swing.
Thanks. Very good.
Beautiful
Well done,
shot.
Anthony.
Anthony drives the ball so well. After that tee shot he hit in the speed challenge, I mean, he just got up there and just hit the same exact one, just ripped it down the middle.
It's very close. It's a good tee shot. You look like you're in good shape.
1.5 feet.
Okay, so it's half a yard.
Yep.
Total distance, 270 yards.
Golly.
Nice.
That's pretty straight, big guy. Man, you smoked that.
Drew third, which was nice because I got to see, I knew I had a mulligan and I knew what I needed to do. That tee shot doesn't exactly fit my eye. For some reason, I can't explain why, but I didn't feel totally comfortable with it. I went up there and I told myself, just let's let the first one fly as loose and as relaxed as I can. And I smoked it down the middle. And as soon as it left the club face, I knew it was okay.
Good shot. That's deep.
You're a half yard to the left.
Yeah, that's a good bomb. That's a nice shot.
Total distance, 256 yards.
Good shot, buddy.
You're handling the heat pretty good, both of you guys.
Breathe, brother. Come on, Woozy.
As long as I get the nervous jitters going and understand that I got to be within myself, then I know that I'm where I need to be.
Jeff has a total distance of 233 yards. He has 2 more drives to overtake Craig. If he does, Craig must answer. If Jeff fails, he is going home.
My strategy was going to be from the onset to go to the right side. Don't miss it left, go to the right. First time I thinned it, I got out in front of the ball, the nervousness, my whole body was in front, my hands were in front, I wasn't letting the club come through. Got him.
Total distance, 223 yards.
I was working with him the other day, and he was hanging on his left side. He wasn't getting his weight back. When you make a change or you add something into your game, then you get under pressure. It's hard to trust that if it's something new, something a little different. And I think he just reverted back to his, his old bad habit that he had a few days ago.
Don't help it, Junior. You got to remember on the range. Jeff was hitting it so good on the range, and I've never seen him hit it that bad.
You're nervous. It's all right, man. The only word I can come up with is nervous. Because, hey, if you miss that shot, you're out of here. There's no tomorrow. And it's one shot, and that's what's so difficult about it. Dadgummit, I tried to get through.
Hi, Jeff.
I tried my best. I put all my effort into it, and the problem was I was just getting my body too far in front of it and basically was hitting a weak shot to the right. It's one of those things, you either have it that day or you don't. I didn't have it. I mean, it wasn't there.
Total distance, 228 yards.
The thing that really got me was of the skills challenge before, I was the one that kind of hit the shot that went a little short that caused Jeff to come back down the hill, and my heart sank. My heart sank because Jeff just never really swung like he could.
Jeff, come on over for a minute. Obviously, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
And it got down to the driver, uphill into the wind. It looked like you were really trying to rip it. Your feet were off the ground at impact.
Almost came out of your shoes on that one.
That's what they tell me. He's coming out of his shoes, and I wasn't
Do you
going to
do
leave
that?
nothing in the bag.
Do you do that normally? And you just didn't catch it. You hit it a little thin, a little off to the right, and the wind affected it, the uphill affected it, and the two guys, they hit really good tee shots. And it looks like they're going to be hanging, and unfortunately, you're not going to be with us. But we hope you enjoyed it.
I really have. This has been a wonderful
It's good having you up here.
It's been a great experience.
You got a bunch of good guys you've been hanging with.
Oh, man. They've been super. These guys, I'll tell you what, it's tough. These guys, it's getting down to the wire. They got some great swings. They really do. good swing thoughts. I told you, both cheeks. It didn't help. As I always say, nothing lost, nothing gained, buddy. It's been great. It's been really good. Room dog. Man, I hated it. I had to come down to a long drive. I'm sitting there going, these guys ripped this ball, you know? And they did good. They did what they had to do. But I was, hey, well, I appreciate that. I was putting both cheeks in it, buddy. I mean,
no, you weren't. You're
hey,
on your toes,
I know,
man.
and I couldn't get the club head around on it. It was just like, get on through there, but it wouldn't do it. It would not do it. Hey, man.
People in Atlanta, I want you to meet one of the best golfers in Atlanta and one of the luckiest golfers in the world. Right here.
No, you get them all good, buddy.
Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Man, give me a call anytime, seriously.
Cool.
Need a little.
Yeah, I need to get that loaded up on that right side.
Maybe send me a video.
This is the only time I've ever been taller than anybody in my life.
You got me in there?
Hang on. There we go.
1, 2, 3.
Great.
All right.
We wake up every morning, we have coffee together. We talk about what's going on today, and talk about our families and how we grew up.
I don't think he liked my coffee too well, though. He said it was too strong. He's like, dude, just a little bit less water and you'd been stirring it.
Jeff was a happy-go-lucky guy. He's always smiling. He's got that great southern drawl that we made fun of all the time.
Hey, Jeff, watch this. Sad to see him go, you know what I mean? A great guy, he's just fun to be around. It's a great accent.
His accent's great. I mean, makes us all crack up.
There we go. It's been nice. No TV, didn't have to worry about television or anything like that. Yeah, I would say it's sad, but I'm ready to get home to my lovely wife and my children.
I'm sure he's a great father to his kids. I don't think he's got a bad bone in his body.
And when he's nervous, you know he's nervous. He doesn't try to hide these sorts of things.
Are you ever supposed to stop getting nervous?
It's a bummer. Every time it's a bummer.
I'm telling you, Randy's really gonna miss my coffee in the morning.
I have had a wonderful, wonderful experience. This has been an opportunity of a lifetime.
Let's go home, Jeff. Let's go home. Maybe I can get the guys to sign this for me.
Next time on The Big Break.
You're just thinking, do my job and let's hope it's not me.
The field narrows as Mother Nature throws in a challenge of her own.
I think everyone thinks to themselves, all right, it's raining. I got an advantage today. If I can just keep it together.
Little bitty stinging drops. Great big drops.
The guys look for every advantage as the competition unfolds.
Somewhat of a risk when you really go after a tee shot like that.
Elimination is on the line, and trouble awaits. This one will have a finish you won't want to miss. Next time on The Big Break.
These guys that I've come to know, create a relationship with, they're super, and they're going to do well. I mean, you've got some quality golfers, and it's been a great time. I mean, these guys are great.